What up, though, everybody? This is another episode of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. It's been a minute. We've been on a little vacation, I want to call it,
Yes,
hiatus,
sir.
chilling in the background, work, family, everything. But we back in the studio again. I'm bringing you a good one today.
hmm
Um, uh,
I'm excited.
yeah, Bear's excited, so he might take the lead. I'm just gonna ask some questions and try to keep us in a good hour and a half of conversation. But first I want to thank one of our affiliates is Walker Talk America. Walker Talk America is focuses on bridging the gap between mental health and responsible firearm ownership.
hmm
How are they doing that, you ask? They believe that by improving the quality and availability of mental health resources to gun owners, they can reduce suicide by firearm.
Yes, sir.
They are paving the way by educating mental health professionals about gun culture and breaking negative stigmas around mental health and firearms, gun owners. So they saving lives by that. You can go on Walker Talk America. I'm gonna put the link in the descriptions, but you can go take a mental health screening for free. You don't have to, say anything or say who you are. It's just anonymous. So, but what it does is it lets you know where your level's at, your
hmm
mental health level at the time. And if you need help, they got other, you can go forward with that. So
Good
if you
services.
come up, I guess, if you come up on red, snarling like the emoji, you can go further. You know what I'm saying? They got resources that they can help you with on that. But I want to thank Walker Talk America for sending us some good swag today. We got some things. We got Walker Talk America bands. I got a little some stuff in there for the guests today. But like I said, I want to thank Walker Talk America being a part and sending us the goodies today.
Yes, sir.
Um, our guest today, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He go by Rhett. Rhett, I don't know what your last name is, but
It's yeah.
but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. So go ahead to
Uh,
the audience.
my name is Red Ashton. I'm originally born and raised in Michigan, so I grew up in the Romeo/Washington Township
Know where that's
area.
at? Yep.
Yeah. So now I live in Madison Heights. I've been
Okay.
there for going on almost 20 years now. So I moved to Royal Oak after college, and I basically never left. So
Okay.
yeah, I've got one son. He's 11 years old. He's a huge baseball player, shooter. He's my little mini me. That's for sure.
That's
So
cool. That's cool. So you
yeah.
teach them. You teach. So you are teaching him about firearm safety and all that good stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. That was, believe it or not, that's kind of how I got into this whole entire thing, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So growing up, I was a big, came from a big hunting family.
hmm
My dad's a huge hunter, still hunts to this day, almost every single day during hunt season. So, growing up, firearms were just always a part of my life. So, when I was a kid, in the backyard, plinking beer cans and, you know, maybe your occasional squirrel or bird like a dumb idiot. But, so when my son was turning 8 years old, I bought him his first rifle, kind of like how that was for me growing
Right.
up, right?
Right.
So I bought him a Ruger 1022,
Classic.
just basically a
hmm
classic 22 rifle, right?
hmm
Well, I couldn't leave enough alone, so I wanted to make it awesome, right? I
Right.
wanted to put a nice stock on it, maybe, make it colorful for him,
hmm
like every little boy would want, right?
Right. Right.
Well, I went down a rabbit hole on the internet.
There you go that rabbit hole.
Yeah, there's the rabbit hole.
You got lost like Alice for a minute, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. So not only did I find all the accessories I was looking for, I found a forum about shooting like a PRS style shooting, right?
Mm.
So next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ordering a rifle off the internet. So,
All right. So there go that rabbit hole again. But yeah, we're gonna definitely get into that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I want to mention something about hood news. All right, hood news. And I don't know if the people pay attention to. Hopefully, everybody pay attention to the podcast. You go on the podcast, you subscribe, you keep your updates. I was on there the other day talking about how I had 3 police officers that came knocking on my door at 3 o'clock at night, with no lights, no cars, no nothing, just dressed in black with flashlight, banging on my door, trying to get in. Probably about 45 seconds or something within to the conversation, they was like, well, it's Oak Park Police, whatever, whatever. So I go to the door, cocked and ready, right? But let's fast forward. Well, we're going to rewind a little bit. In Ferndale, 3 men from Metro Detroit was charged for allegedly impersonating police officers breaking into homes in Ferndale, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This happened in August, and I guess they caught up with them like in December, but they're going to court on
Right.
the 18th. But I'm saying that to say, like, you got to be ready because I thought they were trying to get me when the police came to my house, knocking on the door.
Wow.
And it is crazy that they caught 3 guys in Ferndale doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, you know what I'm saying? It might not have been them or whatever situation, but I wasn't taking that chance, right?
Right.
So, you know.
Oh.
Especially with that being so close to me, but that's still not that far from you. That's still within that, you know,
That's next
that,
door.
that kind of squarish
Yeah,
area.
I mean,
You got to
you
be
know,
an
so
idiot
it's
to
like,
do
you
anything in
know-
Ferndale and Oak Park because police don't do nothing.
Royal Oak, all of that.
Yeah,
right?
they just
all
riding up and down the street.
looking for stuff, man.
But let's jump into the topic, man. And I know Bear want to get into this real quick. So we got Rhett here, and Rhett is a precision rifle competitor in like he shoot competitive precision rifle. And I met Rhett. He came to my job. He had a shirt on that said precision rifle, whatever, whatever. So I know we was doing podcasts. We talk about education, training, firearms, but that's the education, the training in the community. I was like, man, it's a guy I want you to talk to. I didn't let him know it was me because I ain't want to like I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying?
And
I
you at
could,
work the whole
and I'm
time,
at work
right,
and I couldn't
right.
really talk about that at work, so I just let it go. So I contacted him later, and we here now. But he is a precision rifle competitor, and this introduced kind of like what leagues you're in and
Mhm.
compete in, and how long you been competing in the league.
All right. Well, so I shoot in, I guess, I guess you could say 3 different leagues.
Mm.
So, starting at the lowest level, you've got rimfire competition. So similar to my rifle that's over there, but it's strictly 22 long rifle.
Mm.
So, and it literally looks identical to
Mhm.
that rifle, but
Just
it's
in
22.
Okay.
That's it. So there's 2 different series. There's the NRL 22, which is a nationwide type series where they shoot the same course of fire every single month. Every single club, match director who sets up the course of fire for that
Mhm.
month, it's all exactly the same size targets, same distances, same everything.
Gotcha.
And then points are tracked throughout the season, and then there's a national championship at the end of the year.
What's the? I don't mean to break you, but what's the max? Because we're talking 22.
Yeah.
What's the max distance that you shoot?
So
those
for
at?
this series, max distance, I guess the whole point of this series is to make competition accessible to every single range.
Gotcha.
So the course of fire is under 200 yards,
Okay.
but there's options to where you can only go out to 100 yards.
Okay.
So every single range can do it. So
Okay.
I guess not every single course of fire is exactly the same. It's just, the targets are the same,
Right.
but it's just different distances.
The match is the same, but it's
The
just
match
the
is the
difference.
same.
The target, the distance is different. Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's the what initially got me started in the sport because it was easily accessible.
Mhm.
It was inexpensive. I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars on a rifle, and just getting into it, I didn't know. I just thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like, let's do it, right? So as I go deeper down in the rabbit hole, then I found the other series, which is much larger than the NRL, which is the PRS. So that's a precision rifle series. So they have 2 different series. They have a rimfire similar to the NRL 22, but then they also have the centerfire, which I shoot in. So it's broken down they have a regional series and then a pro series.
Mm.
So regional series is typically you shoot matches in your region. So here in Michigan, we're in the Great Lakes region, so which includes Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
Right. Naturally. Yeah.
Yep. So, and then the pro series, hold on, let me digress. The regional series is typically a 1-day match, usually around 100 rounds. It's once a month for 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
And then those regional points add up, and then there's a regional championship, and then you can earn points. The more points you earn, which gives you an invitation to the national championship.
So let me ask you this. And I know you talk. So how did you get into it? Was it because of you get the hunting with your son? Or
Yeah, it literally all. I mean, I've always been a shooter. I love target shooting.
Buying rifles for us.
Yeah.
There I was,
So
3 a.m.
There it was, 3 a.m.
in the bed. My wife like turning the damn phone off, Rhett.
Buying a PR rifle.
I mean, I literally the very first precision rifle I bought was a Ruger.
Okay.
A Ruger precision rifle and
Okay.
22 long rifle.
Okay.
I went straight to 22, and a great rifle. But when it comes to the type of precision you need, not the best rifle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I kept on progressing, and I would get better. So I went to my very first match with that RPR, and I think for open division, granted this is only like 10 or 12 guys at the competition.
So open division. Give us like what?
Oh,
open?
sorry. Yeah, so you have a production class and then an open class.
So it's kind of like accident.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but people
so
listening,
production at the time, I think the production class means that the MSRP of the rifle and the scope cannot exceed. I think at that time it was $1,000 or $1,200. I think. Now I believe it's up to $1,500 because the sport is just progressively gotten crazier over time. And then anything after that, with production class you can't change a stock, you can't change a trigger. Basically out of the box, throw a scope on it, you're done. I mean, you can put a bipod and stuff like that on it, but
no modifications.
Yeah, no modifications whatsoever. Open class is pretty much everything. Anything goes. So there's a big jump, obviously, between that. So so my first match, I did pretty well. I think I placed first in the production class, and I was like, "Wow, this is super fun." I mean, I had a blast. It was awesome. And next thing I know, I was at the store 3 days later, and I upgrading my rifle. I'm like, "Oh, I could do better than that." So I literally shot
a little bit better than this.
I shot one match in production class, and then I went and built a custom rifle right after that. So
but I want to give you some kudos too, and give you some flowers. The other day you told me you came into out of what, 200 shooters? What was it? Rimfire?
Yeah, so for the rimfire, so the PRS, I qualified for the national championship.
Nice.
So so they take the top 250 shooters in the country.
Nice.
And I placed 101st out of 250.
Ooh, that's
and
nice.
My very
that's
first,
what's up.
So yeah, my first full season in the in the PRS. And
But
so,
what about the NRL? You can't.
The NRL. So NRL, I did not shoot the national. I qualified for the national championship this year, but I had other family obligations the weekend of the national championship, which was on Memorial Day weekend. So I already had other plans, so I didn't shoot the national championship for NRL. Okay. But this year I plan to.
So how many? I guess it's like IDPA, USPSA. You got to qualify. You got to go to. You have to go to so many matches to qualify for the national
There's a minimum amount of matches that you need to go to at least qualify, and then obviously a minimum amount of points.
I was going to ask, is it points or matches? But
no, it's points.
It's both.
It's 100% based off points. So with the NRL, they changed it up a little bit this year, the way their scoring system goes. But basically, it's similar to PRS. If you so the winner of a match gets 100 points, and then the point system below that is based off a percentage of the winner. So say you have a course of fire that's 104 rounds, right, or 104 impacts total. So if, say, the winner gets 95 impacts out of that 104, and second place gets 93 or 92, so their score is based off a percentage of what the winner got. So, so you're only 2 shots down from the winner. You get 90-something%.
Right.
And then that's how the scoring system goes.
Okay.
So I know there's a formula involved in there too. I'm not too sure about what the formula is. They do it all for you. I just look it up online and I can see it.
You just go out and shoot and win.
Yeah, I just go out and shoot and wait and see. I just try to win. That's the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. You just go out and shoot and win.
Points and then I'm good. So
that's what's up, man.
Yeah. So I this year in the PRS, NRL 22 division in the regional, there's 2 clubs here in Michigan that I usually shoot at. Only one score counts, but I like to get the practice in anyways. So I haven't finished out of the top 5 in any match this year. So,
Okay. What 2 places are they?
pardon?
What places are
Oh,
they?
okay. So there's first club is in Lapeer. It's at Lapeer Sportsman's Congress or Lapeer Sportsman's Center or something. And then the other one's at the Livingston County Conservation.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's over in Brighton area.
Okay.
That's a nice venue. Real organized. A lot of shooters show up at that place. A lot of top shooters too. So,
What's the prize table looking like?
I was going to ask that too.
well, the prize table at the national championship was impressive. So, typically in a regional match, there is no prize table. You just basically get a little trophy or
Right,
a little
right.
placard or something like that. But at the national championship year, this year, prize table was probably close to almost $200,000 worth of stuff. Yeah,
Whew.
I mean it's
Wow.
big money. I mean, well, I would say maybe $100,000. I wouldn't say 200,000.
Still, that's.
I'm
that's
just trying to
still-
do the
that's
math
still
in my
pretty
head.
big,
I mean,
though, yeah.
I mean, the first 3 things, you know, I guess, you know, first place, the winner, he picked up a, you know, $6,000 custom rifle was the first, you know, I mean, that right there is crazy, right? So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. So, and then they got a lot of scopes, you know, scopes. I mean, scopes are $3,000,
Right.
$3,000 for a scope.
Hey man, one of these days, 'cause I was wondering if he was gonna say that he goes where we go. We're gonna take him out to Blue Water with us.
Oh, I'm a member at Blue Water.
Are you? Oh, well,
Yeah. Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Let's cook something up, man.
Yeah,
Get out
yeah.
on that 600-yard or that 200-yard with him, man. And
Lay down and just
And
get
do
the.
They had their
something.
600-yard shoot yesterday.
did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Them
went
old
there.
timers be out there.
Oh, yeah, all
on them
that.
in their wheelchairs and just
Shutting
laying.
that boy down, boy.
Let me take a
Their
look at this.
Mausers in Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
their old school guns out there.
Yeah, man, that's
on a 600-yard shoot with them old boys. That's
yeah,
crazy.
they out there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you know, in the game, you know, like me and him play sports, and everybody we get prepared. We go in there, listen to our hip hop or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, what's like the game ritual to get you mentally ready? Because like we shoot. I got him in the shooting competition.
Right.
So ours is we shoot
Yeah.
ACTS, is American Confederation of Tactical Shooters. So it's 5 or 6 bays. It's set up.
Two-gun.
Scenario 2-gun. We go out there and get ready. It like the first stage, you're like, okay, I screwed that one up. So
Right.
now I'm focused. And then because
Yeah.
depending on where you score at in that time, like if you shit the bed on that first stage, it's gonna be hard to make up the far as because we got ours is time hits and points.
100%. The
Right.
competition's tight. I mean, especially in the pro series, you
Mhm.
got, the top 10 are separated by 6, 7 shots. I mean, it's,
So what's the pregame? What
So
you
my
do?
pregame. So I stole this from a fellow competitor. So he's one of the top shooters in the world,
Mhm.
and his thing. He also has a podcast too, believe it or not. So his thing is the match has already started.
Mm,
So hashtag the match has already started.
I like that.
So so the mindset is no matter what you're doing, whether it's you're doing your load development or you're reloading all your ammo or
Mhm.
you're prepping your gear, thinking about it, the match has already started. I mean, it's a progression. But I have a system and I have a kind of a routine that I go through on a match. So obviously, I got to get my ammo ready, make sure my rifle's cleaned up, get all my gear together. I pack everything. I have a designated area for all of my stuff, and I know exactly where everything is at.
Mhm.
So it's all about consistency in this game. Consistency is key.
What was it? Consistency equals accuracy. We
Yeah,
were talking about.
yeah, 100%. I mean, you have to have consistency in your ammo, consistency in your process. I mean, even the way you pack your bag, you need to know exactly where everything is
Mhm.
and exactly what the purpose of it is for, right?
Now, mind you, we play video games on Call of Duty
Oh
and
yeah,
all that, and then you hear the guy take a deep breath, and then he let it out. Like, how important is that inhale, exhale when you taking
Hold
that?
on and then just when he does.
Wow, and he
The
breaks the shot.
fundamentals are the most important thing ever. It's natural point of aim,
Mhm.
breathing, getting in a comfortable position, making sure that you're square to the rifle. And that's everything. Breathe in, exhale, pull trigger.
Breathing, exhale, pull yourself.
Yep.
So it's not too much different than how do I want to say I'm a CPL instructor.
Yeah.
He's an instructor.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of like
I'm sometimes he more.
but that's what I've kind of adapted to, like NRA or USCCA have their way of do this, hold your breath, blah blah blah. But I've kind of adapted to teaching students, one, how I learned, and then two, how I shoot as well.
Sure.
That makes better practice for me, but makes me better shooter. It's funny, jumping in real quick here. It's funny when listening to you tell your story. This really was perfect for me today because like our stories are like super similar.
Sure.
Like I know Washington Romeo, one of my best friends that I've known literally forever.
Yeah.
He's well, let's just say he works in Romeo for
Okay.
a certain level of people. We'll talk about off air because I don't just want to put my man's stuff out there. But his kids, he lives out there, Washington. I got people out there.
Yeah,
But like you said, shooting in the backyard and stuff. I grew up like that too. I'm an older guy. we in our 40s, so and
Same here.
times were different in the 80s, where even in the city you could do stuff like that. My granddad. Man, I got pictures. I don't even remember if I showed him this, but there's a picture of my granddad on this table. I can't remember if it was a pellet gun, BB gun, or 22. I think it was a Ruger 22, and he's got a backstop built up in our backyard.
Oh yeah.
And shooting decent distance with his rifle, and I'm right there, at like 1 or 2 years old on his shoulder, and we're, so I can definitely relate. As you're telling your story, I'm like, he sound like me there with that. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, man, that's something. That is, I've always wanted to get into with that, the precision rifle game, because like I said, I found out about 338 Lapua and was just interested after that. And it was like, ooh, like you said, how far out does this rabbit hole go?
Oh, it goes far.
So who built your rifle?
So the guy who built my rifle is actually the same guy who came up with that mantra, the match has already started.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a company here based out of Michigan in Howell. I don't know if you want me to say the name of the company.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. I wasn't sure. So 5x5 Precision.
Okay.
So Chad, his name is Chad Heckler. He's one of the greatest. Yeah, I mean, he's a very good competitor. He's one of the top shooters in the world, for that matter. He's a good all around dude. He's our age. He's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And he builds a heck of a rifle. He sure does. So, so I got to know him through shooting, here in Michigan, obviously, and then, I him and then another gentleman, they do a podcast together. His name's Francis Cologne. He's actually the Great Lakes PRS regional director too. So they're both phenomenal competitors, great shooters. And they're, in the top 10 in the world every single year.
So tell us, go through some key elements, critical elements of a precision rifle, that makes it. I know you was telling me about chassis foundation. Chassis, barrel length. We're talking about action, triggers, and all that good stuff.
Sure. The heart and soul of any rifle is the receiver, the action, right? So I would say 99.9% of shooters in competitive shooting start with a Remington 700 based action. There's multiple companies out there that make them. When you come to a custom gun, you're even for that.
You're talking about the action. You're talking about the
receiver with the bolt. Yeah,
okay.
where the heart and soul of a rifle, right? Yeah. So
would that be a bolt carrier too?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. That would. Receiver. It's the same. The lower. If you're talking about AF or lower, whatever has the serial number on it. How about that?
In a technical aspect, if you were to search up bolt carriers, it probably would come up, but that is the action. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yep. So then you in PRS, so you got to figure out a caliber, right? So there is no restriction on caliber in the PRS. Really? Well, there is up to, I believe it's 300 Win Mag or 3,100 feet per second. Can't go over that. So, but the majority of shooters shoot some sort of variant of a 6mm or 6.5.
Right.
Okay.
So I started off with 6.5 Creedmoor, which is actually kind of making a comeback into the series. A lot of people move to the 6mm because of less recoil, so you can spot your shots. But So my rifle, so I picked caliber, which is a 6mm BRA. And then the barrel is made by, it's a big, thick barrel. I mean, it's 1.2 inches in diameter, truck axle barrel. So it weights everything. So recoil reduction,
Right.
and then for balance also. So you pick out a barrel, gunsmith, Chad, he spins up my barrel to my action, and then I get a barreled action from him. He threads the muzzle end for a brake or a suppressor or whatever you want to use, and then I buy everything else on my own. So you pick a chassis.
What's a good chassis brand?
So the chassis brand that I use, it's made by Masterpiece Arms. They're a company out of Georgia. They are phenomenal, well-built chassis. They're the most winningest chassis producer in the world. They win more that chassis wins more matches than any chassis in the world.
Okay.
It's I mean, there's a lot of good ones out
Best
there.
of the best.
Yeah, it's the best of the best. So,
What about the trigger?
Trigger, I use a Trigger Tech Diamond. So that single stage trigger. So it's a company, they're based out of Canada. They make a hell of a trigger.
Let me break in and ask you this real quick on that. What you using a single stage? What's the benefit of a single stage versus a two stage, and do they even make two stages for?
100%. They make two stage triggers. Yep. It's all about personal preference, really. I mean, I would say majority of shooters use a single stage trigger.
Okay.
So it's just a clean break. There's no travel. I mean, that trigger is set, I believe, around 9 or 10 ounces, I think. Oh, actually, I think it might be. I think I upped it to around 12 this year. So 12 ounces. But, I mean, you hit it, you know it.
I guess, in our game, a single stage or a double stage trigger, you get that a little leeway to
you can put some pressure on it.
You can put some pressure, like
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
he don't need no work.
Right.
It's good for a semi-auto.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking, do they make them? Do they even make them for precision? Because I mean, you may be ready to take the shot and then say, you know what, I don't want to take that shot just yet, and then you got that leeway. That's why I was asking, do they even make them for you?
Well, I mean, fundamentals of marksmanship. You finger off the trigger until you're ready to pull
shoot.
the trigger.
Yeah.
Right, so he probably down there.
Yeah.
By the time he get down there, he already know.
I'm taking
this.
this.
It's go
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all muscle memory. I mean, don't get me wrong, it happens, guys. When it comes to a match, you get an ND, negligent discharge, you're done. That's disqualification. Whole match, you're packing your bags, you're going home. Whether even if you have a trigger malfunction. And you close your bolt and you pop the sear on that trigger and you send one down range without meaning to send one down range, you're gone.
Like, so in Axe, he said, step to the line. If your gun is loaded by you just mentally forgot to clear it prior to the other stage, if you step to that line and that bolt is closed with a round in it,
you out.
Well, see,
I guess I'm just saying, but the mental, how, you get down there, everything is cool, and then you get down there, it's like, oh, shit, I see.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's lots of protocols in place in the PRS and the NRL, so that doesn't happen. So
it's a lot of protocols, too.
Yeah.
After the stage, you have to show clear.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You have to show it clear, and then you walk off and go to the next stage. But you do some dumb shit in between the one stage and the next. You're like, how did I even do that?
You might have been talking to somebody and showing and this, and the third, and just in the middle of it, reloading the mag, and in the middle of it, you just throw it and
damn, how did I do? I done been here I done been here every month shooting, and how did I do that dumb stuff? But
well, I mean, we're all human,
right?
I mean, it happens. You just gotta, safety is number one, obviously. I mean, we gotta because the second it becomes unsafe. Ruins it for everybody else, right? So, at every match, there's a huge safety briefing with everybody. I mean, it's paramount. It has to happen. So,
that's definitely.
I mean, it happens. It happens to anybody and everybody. I mean, some of the best shooters in the world. I mean, perfect example. I'm not going to name names, but a shooter last year at the national finale, very first stage, one of the top shooters in the world, negligent, ND'd. Very first stage. National championship.
Hey, my partner say if you ain't indeed at a match, you ain't shooting enough.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it. Indeed myself. So
You ain't shooting. Like, let me. Okay, so how? Like, we went to the trigger, we went to the barrel. Like, is that twist important? Like,
yeah. Well, the twist is dependent upon caliber.
okay.
So,
when you get
so
to the
say like a 6.5, depending on the weight of the bullet, like a 6.5 Creedmoor, you're 1 in 8 twist. Some guys are experimenting with other twists and much heavier bullets for to buck the wind more. I shoot a 1 in 7.5 twist, 6mm barrel, Bartline barrel, and it's a tack driver. That thing will put at 100 yards. 10 shots in the same hole. We're talking group size in the tenths. Not in the half inch. Tenths of an inch. It's scary accurate. So
Dang, I didn't even do my clap, man, in the beginning.
You didn't, but it's all right.
Okay.
You should be good. We at that time.
All right.
Know that you
We're
want.
going to take a quick pause. Pause is over. I want to talk about another one of our affiliates, man. Is S&C Logistics, right? So, Rhett, if you ever out there, you need some gear. They're a Michigan-based company. They provide outdoor and tactical apparel, and they create unique accessories of their own design. So they got companies like Defensive Mechanism, Heckler Tech, and Direct Action. So they make a lot of they got chest rigs and everything else, but they also make clothes. They got the pants and stuff that you can wear like outdoor, base layers and all that. But they're affiliate of the Pop Culture 223 podcast. So if you ever go on their website, you can use Pop10 and you'll get 10% off. 10% off the whole website. So definitely go take them a look. Check out their website. The Instagram is SCLI dot store or something like that. But I have it in the description down below. But they're definitely an affiliate. Go check them out. So they're affiliate of the podcast. I want to thank Peter and them for jumping on board and trying to get this podcast going. But we had to pay some bills, so that's another affiliate we had. So I wanted to ask you, and I know Bear probably want to talk about it. The rounds, like because we were talking about the ballistics, like the 6.0 versus the 6.5. You had said some key things when we were talking on the phone about how it breaks through the feet per second, breaking through when it's shooting and just breaking, the velocity of the round. So let's talk about that, because you have one thing. You don't go to Sportsman Club to buy these rounds, right?
No. Every single round is completely handmade by myself. So,
so go ahead and talk.
So ballistics are everything when it comes. You got to have predictable ballistics.
Yep.
To know where your bullet's going to go. Now we've got so much technology nowadays. There's also applied ballistics. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. So applied ballistics is kind of the leader in bringing researching all this stuff, and they've created their own ballistics calculator software that we use in precision shooting. I don't know if I've got my Kestrel over there on the tripod, the orange thing on the side of the tripod there.
Yeah.
So it's a weather meter basically. It has software loaded on it called Applied Ballistics.
That's good to know, because I thought it was a camera.
No. It's
you got something else up there. I thought it was a camera.
Oh, that's something new. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
See, that's
here.
what I thought we was talking about. I thought that was a camera.
No. Believe it or not, that's a chronograph.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
That's
dope.
brand new.
Okay.
Brand new. Just came out. So,
damn.
All right, so back to the original question. About,
what were you talking about again?
Yeah, about bullets, about rounds.
Because he kept talking about the Lepore, and I was like,
all right. So when it comes to rounds, the I guess the key thing is you want to find a bullet that has high BC, high ballistics coefficient, but with also the right amount of recoil, so you can spot your misses.
Got you.
That's key. So there's a trade-off, obviously. You can get a bullet that shoots, lightning fast, and is super heavy, but if you can't see it, then what's the point, right? So, so the trend in PRS kind of went from the, a heavier bullet, you know, more recoil because it could cut through the wind,
Mm-hmm.
but to a smaller, lighter bullet that goes a lot slower, but gives you that fraction of a second to be able to see your misses a lot better.
Got you.
So that's kind of where my rifle sits, is in that latter category. So I have a small projectile. So I use 105, 6mm, 105 grain Berger hybrid bullet. And then the brass I use Lapua 6mm Norma BR brass that is fire formed to Ackley improved shoulder. So to give it a little bit more case capacity and then improve consistency, which I'm changing this season to a straight BR, which stands for bench rest cartridge, and then CCI 450 primers. So,
What load? What load? What's the load?
so I use Vitavori N150 powder. I load 30 grains of N150 powder every single time.
What's the charge?
Pardon?
Like the charge. So like
Velocity or
yeah.
So I'm running like 2720, so 2,700 feet per
Really?
second. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, super slow.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, super slow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me jump in and ask you this, man, because we had this conversation literally right off camera before we started going, and that's when KJ was like, "Nope,
Yeah.
we getting into this." So we were just talking, precision rifles and how I got into looking at them, seeing them, and so forth.
Sure.
Just to go on air with it, I've been thinking about bolt action rifles, and part of that too is because I've been haven't been able to go hunting, and every time I try to want to go hunting, something crazy happens, or I don't have people I'm not really comfortable with to go hunting with,
Sure.
or people that I am comfortable with aren't going that year. Or it's something crazy that
Yeah.
doesn't
I
allow
get
me
it.
to get to
Happens
go.
all the time.
So, but even still, I've been thinking about the differences of sure, I can hunt with my AR, it's 223 and deer, whatever. But so I've been looking at cartridges for that, and 350 Legend, 450, whatever. But in bolt action, I thought about it and was thinking about going 308. And then I also was thinking, well, if I go 223 with it, then I'll have to buy another set, a whole nother caliber of ammo, so forth, so forth. As soon as I said 308, you said no. Why?
Well,
Now mind you,
coming from the mind of a competitive shooter,
Yeah.
that's where I'm coming from. 308's a great cartridge.
Sure,
I
sure,
mean,
sure.
the tried and true
But that's why I
308.
wanted your
Some guys shoot 308 in the PRS. Now,
Mhm.
there's actually a division in PRS called the Tactical Division
Mm-hmm.
that is strictly for two calibers. And that's 223 and 308.
Mm.
So it's a separate division from open. I mean, it's same rules and everything
Mhm.
like that, but it has its own separate category. You win your own separate trophy, the whole bit. So, and some of the best shooters in the world shoot those
I was
calibers.
gonna say, do they
So,
get to
yeah.
go to nationals and all that stuff?
Oh yeah,
too?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just it's not the most competitive cartridge. I mean, even though they're top of their game in their own class, I
Mhm.
mean, some guys they shoot up there, in overall
Mhm.
compared to the other guys. But for actual precision, you want to get high ballistic coefficient bullets. Like I said, slower so you can see your spot.
Mhm.
Misses. It's just a superior. The bullets are superior. Bullets are everything.
Got you.
The bullet is everything. 223. Some guys are. I mean, when it comes to 22mm bullets, there's a couple of new cartridges out that I wouldn't mind giving a shot, giving a try. So in a 22 caliber gun.
Mhm.
So there's 22 Dasher, 22 Arc, which is a new cartridge that Hornady just came out with.
I just saw that recently. I read about it recently.
We can run
heard about
those?
it,
Yeah.
I
22
don't-
Arc you can run in an AR platform too.
Now that I
So,
didn't know, but I just
yeah.
remember I briefly read something like a highlight somewhere about 22 Arc, and I probably didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but I'm like 22 Arc. That's a
It's
new
just
caliber. Is that different or yeah?
It's just a barrel swap now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But that cartridging and everything is basically like an AR platform cartridge where I could take my PMag and just load those and
you can load those, but they're obviously much heavier bullets.
Right.
You know, it's not a 55 grain,
Right,
FMJ, right?
right.
So this is probably a 77 grain Burger
Right,
or Hornet
right.
ELDM match.
Now, let me ask you this, too, because I know we were talking about this as well as far as rifles. You know, like I said, just for beginners and getting to learn bolt action, you know, I was thinking about a Savage Axis, too. And for a beginner, that's for that. So I'll probably still go with that just because I'm, price, beginner, starting off,
Sure.
I don't want to just jump head in and get, full custom joint. And I don't, I'm the guy that doesn't want to have the Ferrari with the brand new license and you tear it up or don't do it.
Sure. I mean, it's all about fun. I mean, just
exactly.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this too, because this is probably going to go into what you were about to say.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Because you said that you like, or that Savage is a pretty decent brand. What do you think about their precision rifles for somebody like me that is starting off? Let's say I get with the Axis 2, I'm pretty decent. I'm shooting 6.5 because they make them in 6.5, and then I decide, okay, cool, I do want to get into this PR, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. I can get a Savage, precision one for $1,100-$1,200. How was that?
I mean, you're definitely going to be at a disadvantage compared to everybody else, but I mean, it can be done. I mean, run with your brung. I mean, I've gone to regional matches where guys are using their grandpa's, Remington, 243 Remington 700 and a wood stock, a Monte Carlo type stock. You know what I mean? So, you're definitely going to be at a disadvantage because I mean, you got to remember you're running bolt action rifle or like a hunting type rifle for that matter with the long skinny barrel.
Right.
They're made to shoot 5 shots a day at most. You know what I mean? They're not in a PRS match. You're shooting 100 rounds in a 4 to 5 hour window, right?
So even Savages,
Savage is good.
They're precision rifle ones.
They do.
Okay.
So Savage makes a purpose built rifle for PRS,
and that's the one I'm talking about.
So like precision.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but it actually comes in a chassis similar to that. It's made by MDT, which is this, another awesome company.
And that's the one I'm talking about. Like if I picked up that,
dude, you could grab that rifle off the shelf and show up at a match and do just fine.
Okay.
I don't know if he said that.
I might have misinterpreted. That's
no.
What I was
Okay,
talking
all right.
about.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. You said Axis. I thought you were talking about a hunting style rifle. No. Hell yeah, that's a great rifle. I know there's plenty of guys who shoot that rifle.
Okay.
Well, what's the distance? Did we talk about what's the farthest out you shot?
We didn't talk distance, and so and with the distance too. What about like you said this is a Lapua, cartridge. What about like a 338 Lapua as well? Shooting those other calibers.
You can't shoot a 338 Lapua in PRS.
Okay,
it's too fast, too big.
So
I think I said don't hold me to this, but I think it's nothing faster than 3,100 feet per second.
You said
and
that,
300 Win Mag, I think, is the limit as far as caliber goes.
Okay, and that rolls into the distance because I was going to ask for that.
I just want to know what's the distance he's been shooting at.
Yeah.
Oh, distance. So anywhere from usually around 300 yards out to 1,200. So some of the long range stages go out to 1,300 yards depending on the range. So
how big what size silhouette or target are y'all shooting at?
Oh man, depends on the match, but I mean. You're probably around 1 MOA target size, 1.5. Some matches, depending on if it's a qualifier match, you're shooting half MOA targets. I mean, tiny.
Damn.
So how important? Because I know you were switching to talk about how important is that glass?
Glass is everything. If you think you're gonna spend $1,500 on a rifle, spend $3,000 on glass.
Damn. I was going to ask you that too. What kind of
So I run right now on that rifle. I run a Leupold Mark V HD with a PR2 reticle. It's 7 to 35 by 56. I mean, I can see a squirrel scratching his nuts.
I was about to see you reaching out and touch somebody like. Okay.
Oh, I see that thing. Yeah, I mean it's a hell of a scope, and it's first focal plane is key. You have to have first focal plane.
Okay. Kind of explain that a little bit to
for the layman. So scopes, you got first focal plane and second focal plane. So when you adjust the magnification on that scope, in a first focal plane scope, the reticle moves with it. So the subtensions on your reticle change with the amount of magnification. So it stays consistent throughout the magnification range. If you say you have a mil dot scope in in a second focal plane, those mil dots only apply to certain magnifications
Mhm.
on the scope itself. So with the first focal plane, no matter what magnification you're at, you know that the data is going to be correct. So 2/10 of a mil. So I run a mil radian scope. Some guys use MOA, but I'd say 90% of the shooters use mil radian. So
Mm.
I know that for example, say at 400 yards, I know that if I'm holding up or down, say 0.2 mils, at a certain range, I know no matter what magnification I'm in, I know that's exactly what it is. It is 0.2 mils. So,
Let me ask you this too, because we were talking about this, and for a lot of people that don't know, um, when you're shooting at certain distances past a certain point, you do have to take into effect um, the world, the earth, and the
100%. So, in my
there's
ballistics
extra
kit,
windage
yep.
and all that good stuff. And what is that distance out to that you have to really start accounting for that versus, like you said, a 200-yard shot, you may not have to look at it. Of course, wind is probably, but not so much everything else. At what distance do you have to start accounting for all those extra physics factors, shall we say?
Well, it really any range, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the curvature of the Earth, not so much. So,
Right.
whatever your latitude is, that's inputted in your ballistics calculator from the
Right.
start. So, when I show up to a match, the first thing I do out in the parking lot is I grab my Kestrel, my ballistics calculator, I turn it on, I update the latitude of where you're at in the country. So, I mean, because I travel all over the country for matches. So, I want to make sure that my latitude is right, and then I calibrate my compass for the area that I'm in because there's different magnetic disturbances. There's all types of crazy stuff. So, and then you get your environmentals, which is your temperature, density, altitude, humidity,
Yep.
everything. And then the biggest thing is, when it comes to factors, you got aerodynamic jump,
Mhm.
you've got spin drift.
Now,
So
what are
the-
those? I've heard of them, but
No,
I'm just
This
So-
sounds like some NASA shit.
No,
it's 100%.
I've heard of them, but I just wanted, to kind
I
of
ain't heard of
everybody
'em.
else a little, yeah.
So aerodynamic jump accounts for whatever the wind is. So
Mhm.
you got a right hand twist bullet, right?
Mhm.
So if that's shooting out of that rifle, it's spinning on the right hand. If you got a 1 7.5
Mhm.
twist, your calculator accounts for the amount of jump that bullet has, depending on which way the wind's blowing. So if the
Mhm.
wind's blowing from the right, and the bullet's spinning into the right, it's going to lift the bullet more as to where if the wind's coming from the left, it's going to make
Push
that
it
bullet
down,
jump
yeah.
down. It's going to push it down. And then spin drift, obviously Coriolis effect with the spin drift. So depending on how fast that bullet's spinning, it's going to affect its flight. So the calculator, I don't know all the formulas for it, but that's what the calculator does. It compensates.
It does the
for
math
that.
for
It
you,
does the
yeah.
math
And here I'm
for
trying
you.
to work holdovers at 100 yards
Mhm. I'm telling you, man,
from a
it's-
VTAC board.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
Yeah.
this Coriolis effect is fucking
Right.
this
Well,
vertical
that's
lift.
why-
Mother, man, it's a
This
that's-
mother.
vertical lift from the
Right,
NASA
right.
satellite is not going into my hollow.
Well, the farther out you go, I mean, wind affects everything,
Yeah,
right? So, that gives you a good ballpark. Not ballpark. I mean, it's pretty precise. You'd be surprised.
Do you find it that because of when you're going further distances, do you still keep the same round, or do you run
100%,
or do you run
yeah.
heavier rounds? If it's what distance do you think this is good enough?
Oh, I
Or-
can.
I'm
hit
sorry,
plates
I'm
at
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
my
saying
bad.
no, you're
Didn't
good.
mean to interrupt.
What distance is this not good enough? Like, do you think that you would have to make it like a heavier grain or a lighter grain, or which way do you have to go, one way or the other, to compensate for the extra distance?
Well, as far as distance goes, there's no disadvantage to that bullet over any other bullet.
Okay.
As far as PRS goes.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're shooting out to a mile, then yeah, obviously
Okay.
you're going to want to change that. But when it comes to PRS, anything, out to 1200, there's no, I mean, that's a very capable cartridge.
Gotcha.
No problem at all. So, when you start getting into different regions where wind is more of a factor, say,
Mhm.
in Michigan here, we don't really have to deal with the wind as much as,
Right.
say, guys down in Oklahoma or Texas, right? I
Mhm.
mean, Oklahoma's, or
Ooh,
even
it's windy.
Idaho, Iowa, it's windy. So those guys, they know how to read wind better than anybody. Not to say that Michigan guys don't know how to read
Right.
wind, but those guys shooting, 15, 20,
Mhm.
25 mile per hour winds all the time. Um, so you tend to see heavier cartridges,
Okay.
in different regions depending on. But I mean, that cartridge is just fine. You just got different wind holds than the guys with bigger cartridges.
And that's kind of what I was getting at,
Yeah.
but as far as you saying, like you said, you travel, because I know, like you said, like you
Yeah.
just said, the wind here isn't the same as it is in Montana.
No,
as
no,
it
it's
is versus
totally
Oklahoma
different.
and so forth, California. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I know when I'm making rounds and I make like 9 millimeter, like 124 grain, 147,
Yep.
and the powder charge is like 3.9, 4 point or whatever. But how many rounds did you have to go to before you got that formula, like where you wanted it, how you wanted it? Because I know that's because
Yeah,
and I know they
no.
were saying like 9 millimeter. Um, with some of my rounds, like the taper matters. The crimp. I'm
100%.
sorry, the crimping around the
crimp,
round,
yep.
around the projectile matters to get it to be more accurate. Because I was just like, okay, I make reloads,
Yeah.
but manufacturers are a little bit different because it's so precise. They got equipment and
Sure,
lasers to
sure.
check it. Mine's are just quality control. I'm in the basement. So how many rounds did you really have to like go through to make sure that like this is where I want? Because you
R&D,
said
yeah.
something about this round hits where you wanted to hit every time.
Every time.
And I know you didn't buy
If
that.
I do my job.
Right. If you do
Right.
your job, like how
Yeah.
long did it take you to get that formula together?
Well, luckily enough, when it comes to this type of cartridge and PRS, you got a lot of guys, swap it, sharing their secrets
Information,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So, for me, when I first got started, when I first using 6.5 Creedmoor, there's tons of plethora of information out there, but you still gotta get your load. So I had a good starting point, and learned from some of the best out there, So you get a good starting point, and then you tweak it from there. But for the most part, like that cartridge right there, it's easy peasy. I
Okay.
mean, it's like it's going to be 30 grains of X amount of X powder, and you seed it 50 thou off the lands, and you're good to go.
But I know if you use a different powder, just say something run
Oh,
out.
sure. So you do a powder charge. You start off, say, a ladder test. You load up 10 rounds or 20 rounds, different powder charges in tenth of a grain increments,
Yeah.
and then you shoot 3-round groups, and you see how it shoots. You find the node of where it shoots the best, and then once you get a powder charge set, then you do a seeding test. So you load again 10 different cartridges with different seeding depths.
I can't stand that, man. I can't. Once I get that thing set out, I hate to even touch that damn thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you down there, you twinkle it, and I get so irritated, and I go upstairs and say, fuck this, and come down there tomorrow. And then like, all right, I feel better. I fixed it,
It
man.
can get tedious. It does. But, that's another reason why I picked this cartridge is that it's easy.
Right.
It's super consistent. And there's, tons and tons and tons of data out there that tells, if you buy, so you buy the blue box, you buy the yellow box, you put in powder, you're good. That's it, right? So you buy the brass in a blue box, and then you buy the bullets in a yellow box. You throw 30 grains of powder in it, you seed it 50 thou off, it's going to be a hammer every single time. If the gunsmith did his job, right? So that's basically what I do. So tried and true. Don't change it, don't fix it if it ain't broken, right? So
how has the technology changed over the time? Because you said you got some new things over there you just got.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that. So the two biggest things in technology are your ballistics calculator / weather meter, which is a Kestrel 5700 Elite. Which without that you wouldn't be able to shoot PRS.
Here,
you want to go grab? Yeah, you grab it. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna grab it.
Yeah, you can grab it. Yeah, show it on. Put it on the camera. Yeah, put it on the camera.
And I was just gonna go out and kind of show them.
Oh, all right, okay.
Oh, you can hand it
down to me so I can still see as well. Yeah. So.
All right, turn it around. So the screen. There you go. So that's your ballistics calculator. Here, if you flip it.
Yeah, he can do it. Just do it on here because I'm gonna show. Yeah, you can just do it right there.
All right. So it's got a little windmill in here, which you point this into the wind. It measures your wind, the wind mile per hour direction. It's got accelerometers in it. It's got a compass in it.
Yeah, I see. As soon as you literally turned it, just like the air in here, it kind of moved it a little. Yeah.
This figures out every. Here, I'm gonna turn on the backlight. So
grab that bag. Take that.
Oh, here, let's take that bag down. So if you can see in the camera here, so that's got all of you input your range, your wind speed, the wind direction, the target direction, the incline, and it spits out exactly what you should be holding. So I'll put it ahead on my.
But how new is that technology to the game?
Oh, well, this has been around for years, this technology. But what hasn't been around is the software on it.
Okay.
So Kestrel has been around for a long time. They make weather meters for all types of different stuff. But the company Applied Ballistics, which is also another Michigan-based company, they have loaded their software in ballistics on that.
Say it's above you, yeah.
Give me my EOTech shit and my dots, and let me go to work.
And I see the wind none.
Well, EOTech isn't EOTech. That's another Michigan-based company too, isn't it?
Kind of EOTech.
Yep.
Send it.
Now I didn't know EOTech was. I knew Trigicon was. They made up in what is it? It's not Traverse City. Where's is it Muskegon?
EOTech?
No,
Trigicon's right there in Novi.
Novi, that's what it is. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
EOTech, I think. I don't know where you.
EOTech is a Michigan-based company too. I don't know exactly where they're.
But I'm glad that I'm finding out more and more to do research or just meeting people that Michigan has a lot of companies that's involved in Ford was rolling off tanks.
Right.
Off that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
The
There's
airport.
There's
so
a
Michigan,
lot of.
and I think like Mound Road, like past a certain point, it's kind of like they call it like defense lane or something, because you got General Dynamics that way. You got the
Oshkosh.
You got, and then it's another place up there that make chips or missile something.
Oh, there's all types of stuff here in Michigan. So
what's the what is the gray box?
All right. So that's new. Here,
I'm gonna go point them out here. So
can you take it off?
Yeah, you can take it off. You unscrew here. You want me to? Here, no. Hold on. Hold on. Here, I'll take it off.
Why he tell us what everything was? Yeah.
Well, here, I'll take
so he didn't have to get off the whole thing. Yeah.
So.
And we in the studio. You can get up, move around.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, who's gonna be Vanessa? What's that lady name from Jeopardy?
Yeah. I was gonna play Vanna White real quick. Just pointing, dude.
Vanna White.
So what's key when it comes to PRS shooting is knowing your velocity, how fast that bullet's going, and if it's consistent or not. So, up until about a month or two ago, chronographs have been around for rifles all the time, right? So, they started off with the light beam with the antennas coming off, and the bullet passes through it, and it goes over a light beam, and it in the front and then in the back, and then it gives you what your velocity is. Then it moved to like a radar type size. So you guys lab radars, those big orange things you see at they look like a plank of wood, but they're orange, right? That gets your velocity too. And then magneto speed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not. So a magneto speed is something that bolts onto the, like a bayonet style thing that goes onto the front of your rifle, and then the bullet passes over a magnetic strip. So that magnetic field correlates, the change in that magnetic field correlates to how fast your bullet's going.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're a pain. They're hard to use. They're big and cumbersome. And they're expensive. I mean, a lab radar, I think it was around $600-700 plus. After you buy all the accessories, you're talking close to $900. Magneto speed is what I used. Seems to be more consistent. It's easier to use, but you got to strap it onto your rifle and get it into the right position, so that bullet has to pass over it. It was, again, pain in the butt. And knowing your velocities is huge. So if you're at a match and you got a change of velocity depending on temperature, there's something wrong with your rifle, you need to confirm what your velocity is. It was hard. Well, Garmin, in their infinite wisdom,
Garmin, boy, that's a name for you. They always come up with something new, man.
All right. Oh, okay.
Garmin designed this thing. It's the size of a GoPro camera.
Yeah, it is. I seen it.
And it is 100. It picks up every single shot.
Man, I told you when I first saw it, that's what I thought it was a camera, man.
It is unfreaking believable. This
crazy.
This is a game changer in the industry, and they can't keep them on the shelves.
Really?
Yeah, and they literally bankrupted 2 companies overnight.
Dang.
Which sucks for them, but
do you use that in the competition itself?
now you can. This just came out. I haven't shot in a competition with it yet.
So what data is it giving you to change?
So it's giving you your muzzle velocity, plus standard deviation, extreme spread.
So you can
So
adjust.
you can adjust. So when in my Kestrel, if I go to my rifle, so I have my muzzle velocity, my ballistics coefficient, everything. So I can true my data by velocity. So if I'm out at a range, say on tune-up day, the day before a match, I go out there, I measure my velocity, and then I true it to wherever range I'm shooting. So say at 500 yards, here, I'll push this in there. Hold on. My target's at 500 yards.
The magic here.
Yep.
On set.
Yep. Here
on
we go.
the Pop Culture 2 to 3 podcast.
Yes, sir.
500 yards, right? So here, let me get there. Sorry. All right. So my calculator's telling me with this environmentals, I need to hold up 2.7 mils, right?
Okay.
At whatever velocity is inputted in here. Now, if I have 2766 in there, say I'm shooting, say 29 or 2900 or 2880 exit. Now I'm at 2.4. That's a 0.3 difference, right? So if for some odd reason, depending on the weather, the temperature, your load data, you need to know your velocity. So then you true it to that. So you put your initial velocity in, you send one at 500 yards with the information that's on here, it should get you right on target in theory, right? So
and in competition, they'll allow you to do that, like to kind of get prepped for that, or do you have to come
100%. Well, now in competition, you had never had a way to check your velocity during a competition because everything was so big and cumbersome, right? Now I can strap this on my rifle, shoot a stage. I know exactly, what my velocity is, and I can adjust for that on the fly.
So your first stage is more or less like I don't want to say a warm-up, tune-up stage, but more or less.
I mean, odds are, if you shoot enough, you zero your rifle in the morning. So when you get to a match, you're usually 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning before first light.
Yes.
Yep. So as soon as that sun comes up over the horizon, you can start seeing it. You're zero in your rifle, confirming you're zero at 100 yards, checking, you're bringing out these big things and strapping them to your rifle and making sure that your velocity is consistent. Now, you don't have to, you can just, boom, slap it on your rifle and do it. It's super easy.
You're going to have KJ out here, man, with a PR.
Dude, they're literally,
I'm just going to call Rhett. That's my new buddy.
Yeah,
shit, let's go shoot 500 yards right quick.
But that's what I'm saying. He going to have you out here getting your own stuff to go out here
on the AR going through an axe match for velocity.
But what's nice about this?
At 30 yards.
It's cheap. As compared to everything else. It's
right.
$599.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. And
for what it does.
For what it does. And then you buy this. I make these myself. This is just a 3D printed item. There's plenty of companies out there that make these that, for an Arca rail that goes on and bolts on the bottom of your gun. There's plenty of different options. It's got a 1/4-inch stud, like a camera mount, just a quarter.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull it off.
You ain't gotta pull it off.
Yeah.
Shoot, you said you 3D printed them. Shoot, let me get one. I'm getting one from you.
You guys.
New product from Red Precision Strike.
I'm making quite a few products these days. So,
what else?
Website coming.
What you for the precision?
Yeah. Hey, I've been shipping out quite a bit of stuff over the last few days. So when this thing came out, I designed a cover that goes over top of it. It's a protective cover. And I've sold over 400 of them.
Nice.
Hey man, listen.
Yeah. Nice.
Listen, you got whatever you do, make sure the Pop Culture 2 to 3 podcast. We trying to get on.
Yeah, I'll get you guys some stuff.
We don't mind promoting it either.
We don't mind promoting.
No, it's all right.
Oh,
well, I'm not quite ready yet, but it's coming. So
what and I don't know, you probably touched it. Like, okay, so on the action match stage or whatever, I think the round count is 24 rounds for that stage, right?
No, okay.
I'm talking about for us.
Oh, for you.
How many? Yeah. I guess I was just wondering for one stage, or how many rounds, like, is a stage, or how does it go?
That's probably, we should talk about that for sure. So a typical 1-day match, let's say a regional match for that matter, you've got usually 10 stages, 10 to 12 rounds per stage.
Okay.
So, in 90 seconds.
Wait, time out.
I was wondering that too.
Time out. Okay, our stages is what,
It's like 140 seconds.
120 seconds for one
I think
stage.
it's 140.
So okay,
But still, yeah.
so that's one stage. You say 12 stages
Yeah, no,
or 10 stages at 90 seconds?
No, it's so 90 seconds per stage.
Okay.
But still, though, you're only talking a minute 30.
And now that depends on the match. The majority of matches are 90 seconds. Some matches are 105 seconds, so a minute 45 to get off those 10 shots. But you got to remember, you're shooting several different positions, different ranges. So you're adjusting your dope on the fly. Data on previous engagement. Dope.
He got that dope on him.
Not dope. No, dead on previous engagement.
That dope.
So you're changing your dope. You're changing your position. It's a lot.
So is that one shot and then move to the next target?
Yep, one shot, move to the next target. Sometimes it's from the same position. Sometimes it's different position. It's all different.
So how much does that rifle weigh?
That weighs, I believe, I haven't weighed it. I took some weight off of it. I had more weight on it at one time. I believe it's around 23 pounds right now.
Okay, so like in the matches we do, it's a lot of movement, right?
Yeah.
So how important or vice versa is the weight, less weight or more weight? Like is it a mixture? Because if I gotta move, and I'm there all day shooting, and I gotta move with this rifle to like 12 different spots. We talking about prone, up, down, atypical positions. Because I seen some we run around with a rifle up drills. Now we talking about a minute or less. Sometimes the stage we get over in like 80 seconds, right? Whatever.
Right. Sure.
But it's up, down, up, down, up, down. Arms get tired. You're like, man, I'm holding this rifle. I'm doing these up drills. I can't imagine.
Well,
if you run around with this
with
big
a 23-pound precision rifle, and you got to pull up.
And I got to. How much is the AR? Like what? Half that weight. Like I can't.
You guys have majority's all offhand shooting, right? So you're not shooting on props and stuff all the time.
Right.
PRS, it's there is no unsupported shooting. So.
But you running around with the base too, right?
Yeah. I
mean, with the tripod.
No, not the tripod. Oh, no. That's just for display right now.
Gotcha.
That tripod I use strictly. I have my binoculars set up.
Okay.
And that's for spotting the targets and stuff like that. I shoot with a bipod that bolts onto the front of it, which I don't have it on there. But so there is no unsupported shooting. So some guys run all the weights. I mean, I've seen rifles that weigh 30 pounds.
I seen one guy I was watching. He had like I want to say a sandbag at the bottom of it.
I have one. I brought.
And
it.
But it was. I guess he was running through so many, like you said. He was shooting from like the truck tire, and he was shooting from a Benz. He was down. He was here. He was there. I was just like, that gun weighs way more than an AR-15. Like, how does that physical and mental, like, because after the first or second shot, I'm just like, now I got to get to the mental. Now I got to take a breath. Now I got to relax and shoot just to be on. So I was just like, man, that rifle got to be kind of heavy.
It is.
For it, right?
It's physically demanding. It sure is. But you want more weight for that recoil management and for balance. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You want a neutral balance rifle so that when you take that shot, you don't got you don't got a big muzzle jump. I mean, it's still going to jump. I mean, you got to find the sweet spot, right?
Has that chassis minimum? Is that if the barrel is heavy work, does that chassis heavy in the back?
Yeah, well, my rifle balances perfectly
all the way through,
right? So it's a perfect balance, right? So when I set that rifle down on my support bag, which I want it'll stay there on its own. I don't need to touch it.
Okay.
So it's perfectly balanced that way. So and then the more weight you add, say you add weight in the front, you got to add it in the back to balance that out, right?
Okay.
So I used to run all the weight on mine, but that was when I first started out. I needed that recoil mitigation more than I do now. Now it's more about agility and moving fast. I want to shoot. Like we have in PRS, we have a skill stage and it's all timed, right? So, I mean, some of the fastest shooter in the world can do that in 30 seconds. He can shoot 8 shots from 4 different positions in 30 seconds, sub 30 seconds. Me, on the other hand, I'm in the 45, 50-second range.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, that's 8 shots at 400 yards, 8 shots, 400 yards, 4 different positions, 2 shots from each position.
Mm.
So I mean,
That's skill, man.
in 20 something seconds, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's stupid fast.
Hey, that's like that one dude that's always winning the X matches, man. That be
Rock. Man, he got it. He has to be stopped.
I just look up and just look at the numbers and be like,
So he went
"Where's
to
my man?"
he went to a night shoot up. We got a buddy that's up in where is he at? Lake City, somewhere 2 hours away.
Oh, MTC.
He owns Black Creek Range.
Oh,
They did a night shoot. My boy Jeff.
Yeah.
Did a night shoot. I think it was like 7 stages. They had like 63 people. They also rented out nods. So they had a company come that you could rent nods out just in case you didn't have it.
Mm.
Guess who won that match? Rock. Rock won it. But Rock got to be stopped.
No, he's the big dog in your
Well,
series.
it just every match.
Whether I shoot a match or not, man, and I'm
He's
still,
1 or 2.
Yeah,
Jeff, my buddy Jeff was a big dog.
He might even be the lowest. I think I might have seen it one going back through the archives. He might have been to like 3 or 4.
But he did. See, it's kind of here's me hating. Some of the guys they create some of the they create the stages.
Right.
See, that you can't do that.
So they create the stages.
Yeah,
but
match directors typically in the PRS, if they make the course of fire, they can't shoot them.
Yeah.
So. But you get a walkthrough, you get to see it. But whatever.
We
that's another.
You do get to do and
it's
see
fun, man. Hey, at the end of the day,
it's still fun regardless,
it's
though.
fun
And it's still,
regardless.
we still got people that still. I mean, I'm super new to it. Every time over this year and last year.
Oh, you're new to the competition.
I'm super new. So,
all right.
So real quick story with us. So I've been wanting to do competition shooting for years and never was able to find like how to get into it. And then the one time I found somebody that was gonna let me go out with their team. COVID hit. So then it was like, well, that kind of killed that. And then I never was able to get back in contact with this person.
Sure.
Well, we have a mutual friend. And, like I followed him on Instagram. We, followed each other back, but we hadn't, really talked or anything. And then, like, long story short, from there, the mutual friend was like, "Oh yeah, y'all should get together." And then we wound up talking, and then it just from there. Now we're here doing a podcast, and he got me comp shooting.
Wow.
So
funny how that happened.
Right.
Well, we got we got other things in common too. But
life things are. But just from that's how it started, and so it was like cool. So I packed up, went out, did a match. And it was like the match before their championship match. It was their tune-up match. And he was telling me like, "Hey, this what this is."
He came out before the tune-up match of the championship.
Right.
I'm like, bro.
He's like, "Man, if you want to, but I'm just telling you." And sure enough, I'm like, "Dang, okay, but I had fun."
Yeah.
And my whole thing, I jokingly always say like, "Yeah, I did better than him." Because he got DQ.
Yeah,
so,
I got DQ.
But I still say like,
why'd I get DQ?
From when you had when your AR.
I was laying on the ground. I had transitioned to the handgun, and I stuck my rifle on the ground, and
like the way he got up,
SRO was right on the line that the bird was facing.
Yeah.
It wasn't unsafe.
120 rule, 120.
180. Yeah.
Literally, what happened was as he got up, the rifle like swung back between his legs.
So it was.
What they
That sucks. Yeah, but hey, man, the safety's.
Oh yeah. I wasn't tripping.
Yeah.
I was tired anyway. I was like,
oh. He ain't joking.
Well, it was just a tune-up match, so it wasn't.
But that's always been my joke about that one. But I did do better. What's funny is all of this year, my plan was to get out more, and then circumstances weren't able to do. But guess what match I did have to make it back to this year?
Another tune-up match.
Same tune-up match.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, he like these.
And I'm like, but the one thing I will say about it though is it helps make me a better shooter and see what I need to do to make myself a better shooter.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's like it's not like I'm going to the easier matches and I'm going through them and then they get harder or whatever. That's one thing I will say about being an experienced shooter but not an experienced competition or competitive shooter. But just that little bit does kind of, I don't want to say make up the ground, but it helps me adjust faster to, already just understanding the mechanics and the math of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I've already seen, like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to change this. I need to change that. I need to put this on my rifle. I need to do this.
Oh,
This is the
yeah.
pistol I want to use. Because at first it was just okay. I got a Glock 19 and I got a CZP 10C. I had other guns that I wanted to use, but hey, I'm out here, so I'm doing it. You know.
Sure,
And
sure.
now it's like, okay, I think I done found my pistol. You know what I'm saying? I really, really like. I still got to put some more rounds to it to fully, but you know,
Mhm.
I did I ain't tell you that yet. I did a guide rod upgrade on it and some other little things that I'm
Sure,
gonna
sure.
do
Yeah.
to make it more, comp ready. But I started doing that with my rifle though, because it's like, like you said, when we're there, we get a lot of people that everybody's friendly, everybody's cool, everybody knows each other. We got another one of our partners, Sinister 556, shout out. But he,
Buff shooter.
but right, Buff Shooter One.
Buff shooter.
They've been paramount in helping me. Where literally, like, if he's shooting, the other one's on there telling me, "Hey, man, I would do this with your rifle, or I would change this, or I would do that. I would upgrade this, or
This is like the same thing you
you're
doing
doing-
in your
Oh
world.
right,
yeah,
right,
100%. Yeah,
You
the
milking your
shooting,
trigger
the
more or
shooting
something, yeah.
community is by far. I mean, I've been involved with all types of sports throughout my whole entire life,
Mhm.
and I coach travel baseball for my son, and any type of tight knit community, there is nothing like the shooting community.
Oh,
Mhm.
Nothing like the shooting
nothing,
community.
nothing.
They are literally some of the most genuine, helpful,
Agreed,
good
100%.
people on the face of the earth, and I've met multiple lifelong friends through this, through
yeah.
this competition,
Mhm.
industry. So, everybody's there to lend a helping hand, and what made me a better shooter was, being around those types of
Mhm.
people, and they will always help. And getting out of your comfort zone, like kind of how you were, that was the biggest thing. Me shooting little tiny matches around the Michigan all the time. I'll tell you this: my very first Pro Series match or 2-day match, where I traveled to, made me a better shooter more than any. I mean,
Mhm.
you get out of your comfort zone, do
Mhm.
something that you're not used to doing,
Right.
and you'll see yourself, excel easily. So, I made a commitment last year to shoot, you know, 3 out of state matches and try and shoot every regional match I could, and still juggle coaching baseball and family stuff. And
My son working out right now for
yeah,
a couple of colleges.
yeah,
and I'm here. But
it's tough, man. It was a grind.
Right.
But I did it, and man, it made me a much better shooter
Mhm.
than I could possibly imagine, and I can't wait to get the
Mhm.
season started.
There we go.
and another thing
go.
about the podcast, and I'm glad you came on here,
Yes,
and it's
sir.
to introduce people, and I'm just that look like us, that may not be in the game, that's thinking about getting in the game,
Right.
like Bear. And that's one reason with the podcast. I just want to bring on different people in different walks of life that still love firearms, shoot,
Mhm.
talk about
Sure.
safety in the competition world. Because I know when I first started getting in the competition game, it wasn't a lot of people that looked like me out there. And that's just the reality of it. And so I hope, people listen to this podcast, especially this one, they reckon they probably didn't know about the Precision Rifle Series, didn't know about the National Rifle League, but now they will. And
Mhm.
now they have some groundwork or some tips to things that you did to yours and stuff that started them out. They can like, okay, well I can jump into it, you know, and work my way up and get different things and learn stuff. So I hope it was a blessing to somebody because, like I said, I don't even want. I kind of want to get into it, but I was just like,
Hey,
nah.
I was about
I
to
don't
say,
know if I can get into the precision rifle
oh, you
game.
can do it, man. Because look, it was a
I'll
blessing.
let you do it. I'm
It
gonna
was a
shoot your
blessing
rifle.
for me, for sure. Because I'm gonna tell you, I hate to tell you this early, but later on in life, my wife's gonna hate you. Because I'm the guy that like some stuff I may or may not jump blindly into, but if I know
Yeah.
somebody that's in it, okay, then I'm gonna do it. Because now I got somebody I can lean on. Same thing like with Casey.
I'm out there with Rhett.
But she knew I was wanted to do competition, and it was. But I just finally found somebody that I could
Hey, let me say
coattail
this,
with.
Rhett, to you.
But then it's gonna be like I'm out here with KJ. Oh, what you doing next? Oh, now I'm out here with Rhett.
Oh,
And I'm
Let me tell you this. Bro called me, and listen, Rhett. He called. Listen, I tell people come out here and shoot with us, go competition, just like you tell
Yeah,
people
yeah,
come out and
yeah.
shoot. You think they call you? Oh man, such and such. It was cold out. It's nasty out.
Yeah.
This dude was at on my driveway. I mean, on my street at 6:30, 45, calling me. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, he's ready to go.
He was ready to go. I thought he was gonna say, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to not go." I was like, "Better, I should stay in bed." So he was ready. So some people they talk about it, but he was like, he talked about it, he wanted to be about it. So
I was ready, man.
he was ready. So he was dedicated from the start, man.
Well, in advance, tell your wife I'm sorry. Trust me, I've got a buddy that I shoot with, and it's a big joke. Now it's no big deal, but when I said, every time I see you, it costs me $500 because he has some sort of new gizmo or gadget that I just have to have, right? So, it's funny. So
well, and then I'm glad that in my circle too, like in your circle, when I first started in the gun world, I bought stuff that people already tested, already tried and true. So I didn't go down to let me try this, let me try that.
Right.
Now the first rifle I bought was an Anderson. I got shit for it, but I kind of upgraded to a Daniel. I got a Daniel Defense. And I know you said Daniel Defense is in the precision world now.
oh yeah, they make a great rifle. It's a Delta Pro, I think is called.
And that's the rifle they gave away at CRC Championship.
It was that one?
Yeah.
I thought it was AR. Ooh.
No, it was a precision.
It was a bolt gun, right?
It was a bolt. Yeah,
remember?
It was a bow gun.
Yeah, it's a good rifle.
I did see that because I went back because I was showing somebody else the prize table from CRC, and now that you mentioned it, it did kind of look more like a precision. Yeah,
it was a Daniel Defense precision rifle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we just scratched the surface of all this stuff, and I appreciate you guys having me on because I love talking about it, just like you guys. We like talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
So good resource, and a shout out to my buddies. They have a podcast called Miles to Matches.
Okay.
If anybody wants to learn about precision shooting, that is a phenomenal resource, and they start from the beginning all the way up, and so I would definitely look that up if you guys want to learn some more because
they on Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're on Instagram, they're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole bit. So
because they like us. They're everywhere. Yeah,
they're everywhere.
So I'll probably reach out to you to get some when I start editing, breaking down, putting content out. I'm always want to tag people, especially your crew, your circle of people, so they'll know. Oh, he was on the pop culture, So we all in the community, working. They may give me some tips for podcast stuff or whatever.
Sure.
We just now starting. So anything else? I got one more thing. Anything else, Bear? You want to ask me?
No, man.
Okay, so I got a little something we can get out.
At least not off the top of my head. I'm kind of satisfied with my fancy. I'm just gonna sit back here and look at the rifle more. You see, I keep looking at it. That's dope.
I go down to my gun room and I just look at it all the time.
Right.
Hey, babe, I'll be right back. Down in that damn gun room again.
Right.
So listen, how was everybody's holiday day Thanksgiving?
I'm about 10 pounds heavier already, but
what about you, Bear?
Well,
it was good.
As we talked about, I was supposed to be going down south.
Oh, that's right.
Family, but I wound up. My youngest had pink eye. I had a sinus infection that was from hell. Sinus infection gets cleared up, and then he had pink eye cleared up some. But then on top of that, right after that, then my oldest had pink eye.
Well, here's I was just thinking about this, bro.
It was cool, hey, but that was just on. I say that with sarcasm. It's like, gee, okay, but it actually wound up not being bad. I smoked the what did I smoke? I smoked the ham, and I smoked did I smoke the no? We had a ham and a turkey, but my wife did the turkey, and I did the ham. Yeah. And I smoked it. I think next year, I'm gonna wind up smoking, just doing both or whatever. Because I know I did that before, like the first. Because that's been like another passion of mine that I'm starting to get into the last couple of years. Is
smoking meat.
Smoking meat.
Yeah.
And
Pause.
but once you get on it though, it's like, whoa, okay, this is actually pretty. So it's like the first year I got one. I got a cheap, smaller smoker from Cabela's. It was on sale.
Sure.
Was it not Masterpiece or Master?
Yeah,
Master Choice, whatever. And it was like I said, it was super cheap. But I did a turkey breast and I did a spiral sliced ham. And bro, when I tell you, like,
yeah, it's good.
You didn't bring me none.
Well, I didn't know you did, so I mean, I couldn't have brought you none in. But it came out so tender. And it was so, it's different when you actually do it versus, and it was like, okay, this is the way to do it. So
I got a question.
Sure.
So, with the holidays coming up, right? Red, I want you to finish this statement. And then,
boy, here we go.
Okay. Cousin Lee or cousin Sheila messed up the holidays because of
showing up in their underwear.
That's a good one.
All right.
I don't know. Wow, you definitely put me on the spot. Holy cow.
That's a good one, though.
All right, cousin Lee or cousin Sheila messed up the holiday dinner because of what?
Showing up drunk.
Oh, that's a good one.
Effing up the macaroni.
Oh. Yeah.
Cousin Lee
Yeah.
or cousin Sheila messed up the holiday dinner because they messed up the macaroni.
Yeah.
Because they seen some shit on TikTok.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that one before. Somebody was talking about it. Something similar to that.
TikTok cooks, boy.
Hey, stay away from them TikTok cooks.
Hey, I can't think of her name. But there's two of them. There's two people. One of them's a brown skin lady. I can't think of the other person. But she actually cooks. And, like, she's got a cookbook now. And her recipes be the truth. I've actually...
That off of TikTok?
Wow.
Well, no, I've seen her on Facebook, but she is on TikTok. But
okay.
But her recipes actually be legit, though.
Hey, Red said coming in their underwear. Our question was, did they start off in their clothes and they ended up in their underwear? Or
well,
what?
see, what it is they got too drunk,
Right.
and then they ended up in their underwear.
Hey.
And they were already drunk. And that's how they messed up the macaroni.
That's how they messed up the macaroni.
Hey, I tell them, I said, listen, you come to my house, don't. Hey, I tried this new TikTok. Bye.
Yeah. No, for the holidays, you don't do that. You bring tried and true.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right. I don't care what it is.
So, Rhett, are you on Instagram or anything, or you got?
Yeah, I am. I'm on Instagram. See, I'm new to the whole social media thing. I haven't really done a whole lot. So I'm on Instagram, at Ashton Precision. So, and then on Facebook. Not quite there yet with Facebook. I'm still getting there. So
I'm not even.
No. So yeah, Ashton. Yep, that's me.
Got him.
Yeah.
Got him, coach.
So
got him, coach.
There's some gun content on there, and then car stuff. I'm a big car guy too. I've got a nice built car that I put on there.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Nope.
Nope. That's part 2 because we already 20 minutes in.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
okay, what you got? Just go ahead.
I got a Corvette.
We got 3 minutes to kill. We almost at an hour and a half. So
I've got a Corvette, supercharged Corvette.
Okay.
About 714 horsepower to the wheels.
Okay.
What year?
Yeah.
It's a 2000 C5.
Okay.
So it's got a fully built motor with a supercharger. Full built tranny, everything.
Man, I gotta introduce. Well, one day we probably just gotta get out everybody. The guy named Daryl, he works at Brickworks. He has a 2012 Corvette twin turbo.
Oh damn!
He got every staccato, Xfinity, with everything. He got.
Yeah, once you get the racing folks with that bad boy,
he got a badass Chevelle, and he got a twin turbo. He got a twin turbo Corvette. When I'm telling you that thing is.
Oh, that's wild.
Wow.
Hey man, when you see me in my '93 Mustang, just know if you hear it. I don't want no smoke. It just sounds good.
It can't go wrong with a '93 Fox body.
Hey,
absolutely.
It just
I don't
sounds
want no
good.
smoke.
Yeah,
It
there's
just sounds good. That's
nothing
it.
better than that 302 with a set of Flowmasters on it. It's one of the best sounding engines
That's
ever
exactly
made.
what I got to it. No, it just sounds good.
It just sounds
I don't
damn
want no
good.
smoke.
Yeah.
So Red, in that goodie bag, man, you got your you got your cupcake. You got
Yeah, I got my cupcake.
got
right
your
here.
cupcake
Can't
from
wait
the
to eat
lovely
that.
wife.
Yes, sir.
You got FLP Firearms Legal Protection.
Section. What else we got?
Carry
So
a firearm.
That's some more FLP
Yep.
stuff.
And then you got you
let's see, we got
Walk and Talk America stuff.
Oh, that's it. Yep, Walk and Talk.
So yeah, definitely take a look. Anybody that needs that, definitely take a look in the Walk and Talk
Heavy
America.
Metal Life, Swag Shop.
Swag Shop, that's me.
10% off. That's you.
That's me.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah.
And they got the little
Check it
wristband.
out.
Yep.
Okay, the W, and then we got
Yes, sir.
what else? We got some more
Some more FLP
stickers.
stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay,
stickers.
gotcha.
So, so if FLP, Firearms Legal Protection, if you protect yourself, they will protect you. So take a look at them. That's another affiliate of the podcast.
Are they based out of Michigan or?
Yep.
They all over.
Yeah,
all over.
Spencer is one of the one of the dudes that come talk to you.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they are based out of Michigan, though, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
You got any more patches too?
Heavy Metal Lifestyle pack.
Yeah. Like
I gotta
the
get
ones in the
some.
bag? Yeah, I need one of them too.
I gotta get some.
Yeah.
I gotta re up since we've been doing the podcast. I didn't know if I want to get those or the pop culture ones done. So
There we go. Yeah.
No, I like the hat.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Check out the swag shop, man.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And we're gonna talk a little bit after the air. So
We can wrap.
Bear said we can wrap it up. So listen, check us out. Please share the information. Please subscribe. Hit that little button at the bottom. Don't cost you nothing. Share it. Don't cost you nothing. Just get the information out. Like I said before, game recognize game. We recognize you, so please recognize us. And we out.